Hey everyone, welcome to Keller Acres. Today I am doing 2 mother jars of vanilla extract. So a mother jar is essentially just a jar of vanilla extract that you can continuously keep going. I've heard of people having these jars for years. So you can start your jar with fresh beans, which is what I am doing today. Or some people will just take beans they have previously extracted, throw them in a jar, put some alcohol over them, and start their mother jars that way also. If you're using beans you have previously extracted, it will take longer to extract them a second time, and it may not be as strong of a vanilla in the end. But the great thing about the mother jar is you can just experiment. You can also dump some odds and ends of leftover vanilla in there if you want to. But for this video and for today, I am using fresh beans to start these 2 with. And then after I've decanted from them, once the vanilla extract is done, then I'll probably play around with them a little bit and do some experimenting. So let's get started. I am using Madagascar vanilla bourbon beans. I purchased these from Indra's, I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that. It's a group that I joined on Facebook. They have a vanilla bean group, kind of fun if you're into making vanilla. Check that group out. It's spelled INDRI. So they will have different orders where you can place and get good deals on your vanilla beans, better than purchasing other places. So I believe when I purchased these, it was approximately $6 an ounce, which is a really good price for vanilla beans if you've researched them at all. And they do have different kinds. So kind of fun if you want to try out some different ones. And the group in general is just really helpful. It's a way to kind of get some of your questions answered, see what other people are doing with their vanilla. So check that out. So I have 20 ounces of vanilla beans. I am going to be doing what's called a double fold. So a double fold is where you use twice the amount of vanilla beans as you normally would in a single fold. So we're going to need 2 ounces of vanilla beans per cup of alcohol. If you're just doing a regular single fold, you only need 1 ounce per cup of alcohol. So each of my jars holds 4 cups. So I'm going to be using 8 ounces per jar. I have 20 ounces of vanilla beans here. So I'm going to be reserving 4 ounces to make some bourbon vanilla bean paste. I made some vanilla bean paste recently with vodka and it is amazing. I love it. Definitely recommend trying some vanilla bean paste. I will be doing another video on vanilla bean paste. I have one out there now, the one I previously made with the vodka. When I go to make this next paste with the bourbon, I will be making another video if you're interested, so watch for that. All right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to first need to weigh out my vanilla beans. So my scale is grams, so I checked and I'm gonna need around 226 grams will equal my 8 ounces that I need per jar. Go ahead and see here. Throw some on, start weighing them out. Also, I'm going to be cutting these open and then I'm going to cut them in half. You don't have to do that. That's something also that you can experiment with and try different ways. But splitting the bean open will help it extract a little faster. There are some people though, I have seen that will just throw in the whole bean. You can do that too. And sometimes they do that just for the simple reason that when they're done extracting from that bean, they want the bean to still be intact so they can reuse it for making paste or vanilla sugar. So many other things you can do with your vanilla beans, but I am going to split mine open so that the process goes a little bit faster. You want to also make sure that your vanilla beans are completely covered with alcohol. So cutting them in half also will make sure that if I decide later as I'm re-adding alcohol to my mother jars, that way, since they're cut in half versus being whole, I won't have to add as much alcohol all the time. So my vanilla beans are down here. I just need to keep my alcohol level here versus all the way up here all the time. So just something else to keep in mind. All right, I'm reading exactly 226 grams. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these on my cutting board. Also, you're gonna wanna make sure that you somehow label your jar because you wanna know when you got this going so you'll know when it's done. Because again, it's gonna take 6 months to a year. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you get that date on there. You want to make sure that you are occasionally shaking your vanilla extract. That will also help with the process of extracting from the vanilla bean. These smell amazing. All right, I have some of my beans ready here for my first batch. It takes a long time to split open this many beans. So I've got my first 8 ounces done and cut. I have my husband helping with the second batch. And we've kind of decided, this is so many beans that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to fit in my 4 cups of alcohol. So I'm instead of doing just 1 jar for the bourbon and for the vodka, I'm going to be doing 2 bourbon jars and 2 vodka jars. So if you have a larger jar than I do, you can always go that route. This is just the largest one that we happen to have right now. So I'm going to instead be putting 2 cups of alcohol into each jar along with 4 ounces of beans. This is still going to be my double fold, just splitting the jars up to make sure that everything fits. So let's get started with that. I've got my bourbon already measured out. I'm starting with the bourbon. And we've weighed out our beans so that we have the correct amount in each jar. Again, 4 ounces are going into each jar along with 2 cups of alcohol. And again, we cut these beans in half just to make sure that they stay fully covered with alcohol. Even cut in half, they take up a lot of space. Pour 2 cups in this first jar. Oh dear. I'm gonna get a funnel. Okay, don't do what I just did. Trying to pour from this, there's so much alcohol in here, I spilled a little bit, so I'm gonna have to add a teeny bit more to here. And now I'm going to use a funnel. So as you can see, if I didn't have these beans cut in half, then they would not be fully covered since I'm doing 2 different jars now. You would be able to fit 3 cups of alcohol in here, I believe. It's just with so many beans, there was no way I was gonna get 4 cups in here. Get my other jar here going. Got our 2 jars of bourbon vanilla extract going here. Gonna put my lids on. I also have a label made. I'd only made 1 label for each jar, so now I need to make a second one since we ended up deciding to do this a little different. But I have these nice little labels. So it's going to say Madagascar bourbon beans, and then also the type of alcohol that's in the jar and the date that I made this so that I will know when it is ready to go. And you know what? Perfectly, it will be ready by next Christmas. So that's great. Again, you want to make sure that you shake these occasionally, daily, if you think about it, at least, every few days. And I'm also going to show you our other extract that we have going currently that we started back in October. This is the one with the spiced rum. It's looking really good. It's nice and dark, as you can see. Then we also did these cute little bottles that we found on Amazon to gift. And this one is just vodka. And these are also Madagascar vanilla beans. So it's looking really good. It's still, you can still tell it's kind of weak, but it's got a ways to go. And the beans are in here, which is nice. So when you gift this, we have some labels for this that tell the person that we gift it to when it was bottled and what to do, basically to shake it occasionally, and that after they start using it, they can refill it with alcohol. Just want to, again, make sure those vanilla beans stay covered so they can get another use out of these vanilla beans as well if they'd like to. So that's kind of fun. So when we go to decant this, if we decide to gift it, we could also pull some of these beans out and put them in bottles like this too. So if you want to make sure that if you want to have beans in the bottle that you're gifting so that the person you're gifting it to can also refill and reuse those beans, that's one way to do it. You could start it in a big jar and then just put some beans in the jar that you're gifting. And then make sure that they know that it's not going to be as strong and it's going to take a little longer to extract those beans a second time around, but you can. Once I'm ready to start my next batch, my husband's over there working away on that second batch of beans. This takes a while for a double fold, guys, so be prepared for that. Splitting these beans, and some of them are really skinny, it takes a while, but it is going to be so, so worth it. So we'll start on the vodka next. Okay, now we're going to get our vanilla beans in these next 2 jars that we're using vodka with. Get all these beautiful beans in there. Gosh, this is a lot of beans, guys. A lot of beans. Okay, now we're gonna pour in our vodka. Again, that funnel comes in handy. I'm not promising that you're not gonna still spill a little bit, but boy, it sure helps, that's for sure. I'm still dripping down the back, so. That's okay though. I can add in I'll just top it off with a tiny extra vodka here when I'm done. Look at that. Oh, it's gonna be so good. I wish it didn't take a whole year to make vanilla extract, but that's the beauty of vanilla bean paste. So watch for that new video on that, or watch my previous one. You can have vanilla right away to use because the vanilla bean paste is ready right away. Okay, we have everything ready to put in the pantry now. Our 2 jars of vodka vanilla extract, our 2 jars of 2 jars of bourbon vanilla extract. I also wanted to share that I purchased my alcohol at Costco. That's a little cheaper way to do it because it takes a lot of alcohol to make these. So if you're looking for a place with great prices, I would highly recommend Costco for your alcohol. Then you'll have a nice big bottle, so you'll have plenty. I have probably just enough bourbon left over to do my bourbon vanilla bean paste. Otherwise, I'll have to buy more. Obviously, you can buy a more expensive alcohol if you prefer. I decided to just go with, you know, a more inexpensive version just to not make these super expensive extracts. But it's fun to experiment, so maybe down the line I'll invest in some more expensive bourbon for my extract. But anyway, for now, Costco works for me with that. That's where I love to purchase mine. So looks like we are all set. I'm gonna put these in my pantry. Again, make sure that you shake them here and there. Also, we do share some homesteading updates from time to time, so I will update you on how my vanilla extract is coming along. If you're interested, watch for that video. And as always, thank you for watching. If you're enjoying our videos, please hit the subscribe button and give us a like.